I know you're trying to stay fit, but come on, are you doing exercises you should never do? Our fitness columnist, Michaela Whitworth, is here to go over some of the exercises that you should never do. And who says you should never do these?
Any sort of fitness expert or anyone that has to rehab you after doing these exercises.
Oh, yeah.
So there are a lot of trainers that might still do these with people, and I'm not saying that you can't do them, but the majority of the population can't because they're doing it improperly. Maybe they aren't flexible enough, and there's just other things you can do where you're not going to hurt yourself.
So you're not asking for trouble.
Yeah, why would you do these ones when there's other things you can do that are also more effective? Some of these are kind of useless. So.
Is this one useless where you pull behind your, because I do that one behind your head?
Yes, that's the first one I'm going to talk about. So the first one is the lat pull-down machine, where people are pulling the bar behind their heads. Okay, and that is incredibly dangerous for your shoulder joint. So you'll see it in the video here is behind the neck lat pull-downs. And I mean, just when you're kind of looking at that, there's something about it doesn't look right. But that can lead to shoulder impingement or rotator cuff injury. Or if you're hitting the back of your neck every time, it can lead to a cervical vertebrae injury as well. Most people's joints just aren't mobile enough, and you're not able to keep your spine straight enough in order to do that properly. So there is a place for it, but every time I see someone do that at the gym, I cringe because I'm like, oh, they're going to have a shoulder injury. So
instead of that,
very simple, is a second video I have, which is the lat pull down, but where you are pulling the bar in front of the body towards the breastbone, keeping your shoulder blades down. And it's a much more effective exercise for your lats. And you don't want to have any momentum on that as well. You want to be in control of the movement.
Okay, lats are?
Lats are the muscles of the back, so the very large muscles of the back.
Muscles of the back?
That's working the back. You're pulling down. Anytime you do a pulling type of movement, you're working your biceps and the muscles of the back.
But like this seems like it would be more targeting.
I mean, you're going to get more of the traps, but you're going to get a shoulder injury as well.
I'm happy to eliminate that exercise.
I never want to see anyone do that one ever again.
They have abductor machines at the gym, and I do the abductor. Why would they have the machine if you don't think?
It's one of these things that's one of the people's favorites. Everyone loves doing it because most people are like, I'm so strong on the abductor machine. You should see how much weight I can push. So this is one where you're pushing out with the outer thigh muscles. And the thing with this one is using your outer thighs to lift weight while in a seated position can actually strain these muscles, as well it can aggravate your lower back pain or any hip problems that you have. And those muscles aren't really designed to be the prime mover of the exercise. They're just supposed to be kind of secondary. So what you want to do instead, and the thing is as well, you're not really using your outer thigh muscles half the time to do this movement. You're cheating. You're using your back muscles, which is why it can be quite dangerous.
Really?
Yeah. Hip flexor muscle.
His back?
Well, he's doing it quite controlled and not so bad, maybe not as much weight.
Okay.
But why do that one when you can do something else?
Safer, okay.
So something that's safer is any sort of an abductor movement.
Do that?
Well, side kicks, you don't have to do them in this position. This is a bit more advanced. But people who are doing the other one, if you're really wanting results, switch to something like this, using a cable machine for resistance.
Wow.
Yes, but always start with a weight that you're comfortable with, that you can do enough out of, because with any exercise, you can do it improperly. Your body's always trying to figure out a way to cheat and make the exercise easier. So make sure you have someone watching you when you do these exercises for the first time.
Michaela Whitworth does not like the kipping pull-up.
No, I don't. And it's become very popular in the last few years. And the kipping pull-up, well, you'll see in the first video, a lot of people aren't sure what this one is. This is kind of a variation of the standard pull-up, only you're kind of thrusting your pelvis forward and creating momentum to come up. Now, with this, I mean, it's just kind of a way to help you do more repetitions, but you're violently pulling on your shoulder joint every time you do one of these ones. And most people's shoulder joints aren't able to take this, so maybe initially your shoulders will feel fine, but long term it can cause a lot of damage to the shoulder joint.
What about your teeth?
Yeah, I would worry about that, hitting your head. It's not the best movement you can be doing.
Okay.
So instead of that, the classic underhand chin-up. And the thing with this underhand movement is you can actually use more biceps in this exercise than when you have the overhand grip. So I usually get people to start with these ones, and once you build up, say you can do 10, 20 reps, then switch and start with the overhand ones, but still have a controlled movement pattern. And other people, too, are really tight in their lats, and when they start with the other ones, that can also pull on the lats and can cause a strain or sprain to your lats as well.
So what do? I go to the desk at my gym and say, get rid of the rotary torso machine and the...
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
The abductor machine. Okay, rotary torso machine. You don't like.
No, this one is where you're doing a twisting type of motion. Most people are doing this one because they think you can lose abdominal fat on this. I believe that's the reason why people really like this machine, but it's not going to remove anything from the midsection, and it can lead to a disc herniation.
Ooh.
Which the machine itself, a lot of them actually are designed to go beyond what you're supposed to go in terms of a rotational movement. So I don't know who created this movement. They don't know anything about exercise. But whenever you are doing a forward flexion, so you're kind of a bit forward with your body, and you have uncontrolled rotation, that's what can cause a disc herniation in your back. So you don't want to mess around with that. So the other exercise that you could do would be a side plank exercise where you're going into an oblique crunch. So very small movement, you're using gravity, and you're kind of doing a crunch through the waist.
Okay.
And this, I mean, when you're doing it properly, it's a small movement. You're not going to strain any of the muscles of your lower back. You're going to do it correctly. So you just want to be safe when you're doing all of these ones and have someone watch your form and technique. Because like I said, those other ones, there is a place for them. When I see people doing these ones at the gym, it is so wrong, and I have a hard time just sitting there watching people like, oh, that's going to lead to a disc herniation, and you're hurting your back, and you're going to have a shoulder problem, but can't really step in when I'm just working out at the gym myself.
So I want to know how I should behave when I see people on the abductor machine or on the rotary torso machine. What would you do so that I can recreate? Do I just go... Do I do that, or?
No, I've tried to correct people in the past when it hasn't been my place, when I'm not working there. And most people are like, you know, I'm twice your age, what do you know?
Yeah.
So you're going, okay, you're doing it right, just be safe. You know, but
so I don't do anything?
No, I mean, you could try, but every time you try, sometimes you're not going to get the best reaction.
Our fitness columnist says you're going to hurt yourself. Stop.
But now I put it out there, so I'm hoping there's a lot of people watching, and they'll say, you know what, I do that movement. Maybe I'll try this other one. Maybe I'll have more results. It's more effective, it's safer, and it's not going to lead me to an injury.
Saving joints. Yes. Michaela Whitworth, our fitness columnist. Thank you for speaking with us this morning.
You're welcome.